welcome to today's episode, guys. We're gonna be time traveling a little bit. Um, we're gonna talk about a letter to the 2017 us. Welcome to today's podcast. All right, welcome back to another episode of the hahang podcast. And with me here, I have Faith. If you tune into the previous episode, she already made an introduction of herself. But for those of you for the guys that have not listened for the previous episode, do go and listen. But at the same time, can you give a quick introduction of yourself, Faith?
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Faith. I'm currently doing SIT nursing. That's a very short introduction.
Yeah, if you want the full blown introduction,
Go watch
right?
the previous
Go
episode.
watch the previous episode. We are available on Spotify, YouTube, and Google Podcasts if that's your thing. Yeah. Okay. So, today we're gonna talk about the letter to 2017 us. So for context, it's 2022 now. So it's us 5 years ago.
Yep.
So okay. So what were you doing 5 years ago, Faith?
5 years ago, that was 2017. I think in 2017 I was doing my gap year. Yeah, so at that time, I received my rejection letter from NUS nursing.
Yep.
Yeah, so like I was using that year mainly to build up my portfolio for school because the plan was to use whatever experience I built in 2017 to reapply again for uni in
Yeah.
NUS.
Okay. So what are you doing now then?
Currently, like I said in my intro, I'm in I'm doing I'm in uni. Yeah, but instead of NUS, I decided to go into SIT.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess for some of y'all might be wondering why 5 years, right? Like why it took me 5 years to get here. But basically, the long story short is I went to poly first. Yeah, I did my diploma in nursing in Ngee. Yeah, and then that took 3 years.
Yep.
Then graduated, and now I'm in SIT.
Yeah. So I think we did a podcast on this. It's on the YouTube channel, but it's very long
Yeah.
ago. I think we can do it again since we have better audio this time. Yeah, and we can put it on Spotify. But I think okay. So for me personally, what am I doing now? I actually just graduated from NTU. I studied accountancy. Yeah. What was I doing 5 years ago? I think 5 years ago I was in NS. Yeah, so I was in BMT, then I went to command school. So it was like the entire was just training lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the reason why we're doing this episode or letter to the 2017 us is because I think as we got older, we're not that old.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not that old yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, but I think as we look back on our lives, I think especially during the COVID period, or at least for me, like when you're closer to graduation, you look back and at least I'm entering the workforce, right? I know some of my friends are already in the workforce. Haha. I'll join you soon. Yeah, but I think as you look back on life, this is actually the first time, right, that we are entering into a season where there is no structure. Because growing up in the education system, right, it has always been okay lah. I finish primary school, I go secondary school. I finish secondary school, I go to tertiary education. After that, then maybe I go uni lor. And within each season, there's always a structure. Yeah, like year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. These are the things you'll be doing every day. There's a curriculum. But when you go to work, everything and anything happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I think when we were looking back at 2017, it was a time where you were technically both of us were I like to call NS a limbo period. So for all my friends that go to NS I always say that NS is a limbo period where time stands still because for your own batchmates, right, you see like them going to uni or going to work or whatnot, but you're stuck in NS. And what are you gonna do in NS? Again, there's gonna be another episode where we have all NS guys. Okay, so but basically, I think like looking back, right, I think in that period there were a lot of uncertainty for the both of us. Much more so you. Yeah. So I think now it's more of you can call it a very like reflective episode.
Yes.
Yeah, but the takeaway for this, for those of you who are listening, is this is that regardless of where you are, you will make it somewhere in the future. Yeah. So this is just us recounting of where we were 5 years ago, and it serves to us as a reminder of how it will be like also 5 years later lah. Okay, so what were the thoughts? What were the concerns you had 5 years ago?
So 5 years ago, like I said, I was doing my gap year to build up my portfolio to get me a better chance to get into uni.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a very blank piece of paper for me. Yeah. Even though like I knew like the course I was gonna study, which is nursing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So logically I went to search for jobs like related to that lah.
Yeah.
But even so, it was still like, where do I even begin? You know, because with healthcare you need certain like license to even like step into the hospital to practice anything.
Okay.
Unless you're talking about like being an admin staff in the ward and
Which
everything.
is not something you wanted to do.
Which is not very ideal
Okay.
in terms of what I wanted, because
Okay.
to me it's like I only have this 1 year to build up as much as I can just so I can get another chance. Yeah, and like this chance is like it's not even 100% chance. It's just let me shoot my shot, you know.
Then actually, what did you use to get into poly?
I used my O levels
O level valid for so long?
apparently.
For like what, 2-3 years?
I have no idea, but I used my O levels and a bit of my A levels also, because when I was applying for my poly, they did say to state your highest education level.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just used whatever that I had lor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like my thoughts during 2017 was definitely super lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know where to start. But at the same time, I knew if I delay any further, then the whole point of the gap year will be wasted.
Yeah, because you cannot maximize that 1 year
Correct.
that you had.
Yeah, because by a certain time you need to apply for uni already. So it means that you must, or rather I must finish all the internships, all the jobs that I wanted to do. Yeah, so really like there was no time to waste. Yeah, and I think looking back in hindsight, right, like everything was quite rushed, but also things just started falling into place for me.
What do you mean?
Yeah, because I think when a little bit backstory is I got 2 rejection letters. The first one was when everyone applies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I knew that I didn't get in, so I went to appeal.
Yeah.
So appeal, and then that's when I got my second one.
Yeah.
So when I got my second letter, right, I was in Australia.
All right.
Yeah.
Sydney, Australia.
Sydney.
In the land down under. Good day, mate.
Yeah, so like I couldn't do anything, right, because I was overseas.
You couldn't do anything except shout, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, it was in between of like loss and like I had to do something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't because I was overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I came back, everything was very rushed. But when I came back also, it was my mom that actually told me to apply to this program, like a talk. Like,
was it by a university? Or?
No, it was by Singapore Medical Council.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically the whole talk is like training you to become a clinic assistant.
Mm.
And with that, right, at the end of the course, it entails like a job interview.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just like, wow. Like I said, like everything was very rushed, but things just fell into place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I took that course up and it was very last minute and I was like so scared that they wouldn't even take me in.
Okay.
Yeah, but thankfully they did.
So how last minute are we talking about?
Like literally when I came back, the next day I went down to sign up because the course would need to start on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I came back any later or like decide to like slack any more,
yeah,
I would have totally missed it and again like went back to the whole like, oh, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, everything just fell into place. Then at the end of the course, I got interviewed by this one doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, so from there, he hired me to be his assistant in his clinic. Yeah, so I think that was the start to.
This was the clinic you were working at, right, back then?
Back then.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was already like mid of 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess that's how I spent my gap year, mainly to I placed myself in an environment that I wanted to be in. And thankfully also the doctor that I was working for, he was very helpful because he knew exactly what I wanted to do with this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he would oftentimes like invite me to his treatment room to, I guess, like shadow him.
To observe lah. Okay.
Yeah, and let me like try out different things also.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and like I would say back then he trusted me a lot with like the admin things in his office, like in his clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I mean I was back then when 2017, how old were we?
Sis, you gotta talk to the mic.
How old were we when we were
19?
19. Like who would trust a 19-year-old to his entire clinic, right? Like to run his counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I just felt like he really trusted me a lot, which was, I guess, gave me the opportunity to like be confident in the job that I found during my gap year.
So would you have said like leading up to that, were you very doubtful about your own capabilities going into this new job?
Yeah, super. Like I think because of the whole rejection letter
Yeah.
and everything,
Yeah.
it definitely played a lot with like, am I even good enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be a nurse in the future, or am
Yeah.
I even good at anything? Yeah, not so much of like being a nurse in the future. Like I think back then was like, am I even good at anything? Like, will I be successful in the future?
Okay.
I guess that played a lot during 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even when I had the clinic job, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, things were going well for me, and I was very happy that I landed this job. But there will be times where you just like doubt yourself, like self
Yeah,
doubt will just creep
definitely.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely that was something like I struggled with back then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Okay. So when do you feel that you still struggle with that self doubt up to today?
Mm, I guess not in the same things in 2017.
What do you mean?
Like back then, like grades and like the school that I went to mattered
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, but
Okay.
now
Like it
it's
was tied to your identity in a
correct.
way.
Yeah,
Okay.
like if I don't get into uni, I'm not like a good daughter, like I'm not successful and
Okay.
everything.
Again, right, all these are like things that we feel lah. It's not saying
Mm-hmm.
that if you really don't go into
Yes,
it or
yes.
not. Like I think Faith can say this because she has been through the whole process. Yeah, and I think let's be honest, these are things that we struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also because of like the society we're brought up in. There
Mm.
are certain expectations of what is a successful life.
Yeah.
There are certain expectations of what is a good path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think to a very, very big extent, like these aren't like very good measures of who we are as
Yeah.
people. Yeah, and like honestly, really, I think this one right, we'll just end up talking about your journey. May or may not end up talking about your
It will
journey
be a
about
part
it.
two of the first episode we
Yeah,
did.
but I think like, cause as a friend, like even though we didn't really interact a lot
Mm-hmm.
when we were both in JC, right? Well, I could really see like the difference in terms of when you went to poly to study versus in JC, and it was really a difference between like night and day. In JC, it was really a struggle. You didn't really like what you were studying.
Yeah,
You
I didn't.
you really dreaded studying, I would say. But in poly, when I see you, you're always so. I mean, there are stressful periods. Let's
Mm.
not kid ourselves. There'll always be stressful
Yes.
periods. But overall, you enjoy yourself so much more.
Mm.
You like even with your attachments or hands-on practical or whatever, even if they were tough, you didn't not say you didn't dread them, but it was a very different
Mm.
mentality
Yep.
towards it, I would say. Yeah, and I think like my favorite quote lah. Okay, so my favorite quote regarding education is this quote, but I think it's Albert Einstein. I might be wrong, but is he basically said that if you judge the intelligence of a fish by how well it climbs a tree, it will remain a idiot forever,
Mm.
which is very true.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think okay, I also want to talk about the Singapore education system, but that's another time. But I think the general consensus that the education system, the metrics is not a very good measure for how well an individual will do in life.
Mm.
Yeah, because yeah, some people are more prone to like are more geared towards like studying. Some of us are not. Some of us are more
Yeah.
like artistic and stuff, right? But the education system does not have a bandwidth for that. It's mostly geared towards people who are very good at studying
Mm.
or good at certain things. Yeah. So I think midpoint encouragement is that if you are struggling with school right now, if you're struggling with whatever you're doing, even in university,
Mm.
don't let that be a indicator of how well you do in life. There will always be something that you can do that you'll be good at.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I think going back to well, what are we talking about? I kind of lost
I
track.
can't
Yeah.
remember, man.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, never mind. Since we lost track, okay, I'll just say what I was doing in what I was struggling. Kind of like what were thoughts going through my head in NS. I think in NS because so I think the first few, as with every NS guys, right, or at least for those in like JC lah. I think cause the first I enlisted in the January batch lah. Yeah, like I think fourth gen. Yeah. So when you go in early, after A levels, then you have I think less than a month's break.
Wow.
Which to me was okay, I'd rather go in early than come out. I have a longer break time before uni. Which I did lah. I had like 9 months
Wow.
and it's super shock. So but I guess like going in it was still okay. In terms of because everyone was technically still in the same season. Like the girls they were just limboing around before university started lah. Yeah, and the tough part was definitely like not being able to see my family as much, getting used to the regimental life.
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, training was fine. It's just the having to wake up early, guys. I tell you, NS is okay, right? Except the waking up
How
early.
early did you?
Bro, we have to fall in at 5:30 a.m. 5:30 a.m. fall in, right? But because sometimes I want to do laundry, I will wake up at 4:30 just to wash my clothes.
Whoa.
Or just wake up earlier to do my own reading and whatnot
Right.
lah. Because I want to prep myself for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, when you wake up, you're drowsy, you go down, it's a very bad start to the day. And
Yeah.
when you go down, you do something wrong, you get someone shouting at your
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
Man, that sucks lah. Yeah, so I think getting used to that part was okay because I had the weekends to look forward to, like my spend time with my family, spend time with you guys. So that's okay. I think it really hit when I think it was June. When the school start? I think July, August.
When the
university starts. Because when imagine this, you're in training, you're in outfield, you're in the jungle, and somehow you have your phone with you, right? Even though you're not supposed to to.
Oh.
Then you scroll through Instagram, you scroll through Insta story. I think back then there was Insta story. You see every single one of your female friends, or every single one of your guy friends who are 2 years older than you,
starting school.
They're all at their university camps. I tell you, the feeling, right? It's feeling as if you have been abandoned. And it's nobody's fault, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that you are there. So it kind of feels like you are being abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think the struggle was learning to be okay with lagging behind 2 years. I think that's when you really hit that, oh yeah, I'm 2 years behind my batchmates. Yeah, and yeah, so I think that's number one. Now I think number two was like learning how to be okay with being mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like what you said, like growing up, the idea ingrained in us, I think maybe especially Asian culture, I'm not sure, is that you have to be the best. Or at least you have to be like try to be the best lah. Like primary school, what you want to try to be top in class, try to be top in level or whatnot. Secondary school, same thing. You want to get the best grades you can, because I think the belief is that if I'm the best, if I can be the best, my future is brighter. But again, that's not very true. Yeah, so I think going into like command school, everyone was you're vying to be the best, or at least be decent in the top few. Yeah, so I think for me, it's a very trivial thing compared to what you went through. But it's more, of course, we have course ranking. So I remember like in the middle of the course, right?
Yeah.
My ranking was okay lah, top 10 lah. It's out of 20 people, so it's top 10. Like 7 5 6 around there.
Okay.
So I was quite pleased with myself, pretty pleased. But my ranking at the end of the course, you want to guess out of 20 was what?
Based on your reaction,
Yeah.
17?
Okay, it's not that bad. It's not bad. It was, I think, around 14.
Okay.
13, 14. Yeah, it was 12 to 14. Right? I can't remember, but it was safe to say, right, when I saw it, I was devastated. The word is devastated. And then those of you thinking, oh, this loser, like, I was so devastated. But okay, I'm just being honest. That is the truth. So
yeah.
I think it was a period where I had to learn that, okay, honestly, being mediocre is fine, which helped me a lot in university. Yeah, I think because why I say this is because I think at the end of the day, there will always be people better than you.
Yeah.
You will always be better than someone as well. Life is not like, you know, when you play video game, right? Life is not you as the main character fighting against all the other bots. Life is you fighting against other players like Valorant. So there is a skill difference right there. Yeah, so I think I think that was the hardest lesson I had to learn that year. That I should learning how to be okay with being mediocre. But at the same time, I think I also struggled with a lot of self-worth because I felt like, hey, if I'm not top 10, then I'm not good enough. So the fear of failure was very real, such that when I went to unit, right, I think it kind of impeded me a bit. Yeah, like, I was super doubtful of my own capabilities to get work done and things, and it really like affected me for my entire NS life basically. Yeah, but okay. So I think so this is what we went through during that point of time.
Yeah.
Right. So this is like kind of like the study aspect or the work, quote unquote work aspect, which is NS lah. So let's talk about what about the friendships we had? Yeah. What was going on back then for 2017 you?
Friendships.
Yeah.
I think back then, going back to the whole lagging behind, like all of my girlfriends were already starting uni. Yeah, in church, in school.
Yeah.
everyone was in school. So like essentially they would also have their own friends in uni.
Yeah.
You know, they make new friends and they hang out with new people. And like, I mean, that's totally okay because it's just part of life lah.
It's just moving on with life.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. But essentially that left me with, okay, so who do I hang out with now?
And that's why she started hanging out with all the guys.
Yeah. Yes, actually. That yeah.
And that's how we actually got closer.
Yes. Yeah, so like who do I look for?
Yeah.
It's really the people that are also left behind. Like,
Hey,
it's not in a bad way, but
the remnants.
yeah, we're just like the laggers.
Okay, whatever.
The left
let's
behind.
let's not give a name. It's so sad.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say because we both lagged behind that we got the opportunity to know each other better. So,
Definitely lah.
yeah, and if you ask me who I hung out with, it was mostly with church friends. Like more so in my cell group because like I could talk to the juniors because I've already been through JC A levels.
Yeah.
So to me, like it felt like I guess more relatable to talk to them and hang out around them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on other days it would be with y'all lor. The guys, the brothers.
That's true. Yeah, so I think like okay, for me friendship wise, wow. I think nothing changed a lot. It's just that like let's say for my female friends, like the same batch as us, other than you of course, I started hanging out a lot less.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they went to uni, they had quote unquote a new life. Yeah, and I think with some friendships, when it's a new season, yeah, you do lose few friends here and there, and I think ultimately that's fine. Yeah, because again, this is another thing I'll talk about. So, but it's basically how I think for friendships, at least I believe you can classify into two different categories.
Yeah.
Friends that are for a season of your life, friends that are through the seasons of your life. Yeah, safe to say she's the friend that's through the seasons of my life lah. Because we are like totally different seasons, but we still
Correct.
So I think that's something I had to learn along the way. But anyway, so I think other than that, I started hanging out a lot with the guys. Yeah, because especially all of us in NS it's like
I guess you bond better, right?
yeah, and honestly, the joke part is that you Monday to Friday you're in camp. Monday to Friday you're doing national. Oh yeah, sorry. So for those of you who don't know what NS is, in case they are like other overseas,
viewers.
hey, you never know. It's national service because Singapore has a conscription army. Yeah. So basically all of us, Monday to Friday, we're in the camp, we're in a unit. We come out Saturday, Sunday where we meet. Somehow
Just talk about NS.
we end up talking about it also.
I can testify.
Yeah, she has heard every single one of us talk about it, and
I went from zero knowledge of army to like I don't know, like
kudos to her lah. Now kudos to us, now she knows a lot about it.
yeah.
But also kudos to her, she did not like zone out. Maybe also because she didn't have a choice.
I
But
mean
yeah, so but at the same time I think there were certain friendships that I was building back then also lah. One of it like you, and also like rekindling certain friendships back then. Yeah. So which I think were quite important to me back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the aspect. That was what was happening in our lives back then lah. Yeah. Okay. So I think now, what were your hopes? Back then? What were your expectations for the future?
I think a very short term aspect and goal back then was really to just get into uni.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was the only thing that was like going through at the back of my head.
Constantly.
Like I don't think there's ever one day I woke up like not thinking about where I would be there.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like maybe 3 years down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will I be where I still am in my gap year? Like like constantly trying to apply for uni.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I really didn't know. So in terms of like where was I headed, it was really like working towards going into uni for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my entire time and like headspace went into that lor.
Wow.
Yeah. So 2017, looking back, was very. I would describe the year as like not really living in the moment. Yeah, and more so like just being so fixated with that one thing that I didn't enjoy the many other things that were happening for me.
Yeah. Wow. I think to a certain degree for me it's the same. Yeah, because I think for those of us in national service, we are always looking forward to a better life, quote unquote. And because honestly, life in camp, I think regardless of what you do in national service, it's always tough lah. Yeah, whether you're commandos, whether you're officer, you're a sergeant, whether you're a man, you're doing admin, whatever, right? There's always challenges that we face that is always justifiable. Yeah, so I think for me at the same time was looking, my short term goal for every week is just to get out of camp on the weekends and enjoy myself.
Right.
Yeah, because that was what kept me going lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I always look forward to okay, so ORD means operational
Ready date.
date. Yeah, it's the day where you can get back your pink IC. But according to government,
It's
now
not the
you don't have to
case.
give in your pink IC. What nonsense is this? Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so that was the goal lah. The goal was really just to look forward to ORD because like I said, it felt like it was a limbo period of my life.
Right.
Yeah, and even though I would say that I definitely learned quite a bit about myself. I learned a bit about how things work lah in the world. Cause technically I'll count it as working lah.
Yeah.
You really deal with people who are working.
Correct.
Yeah. So then at the same time, also learn how to be appreciative of what you have. I guess. Yeah. I think the biggest struggle for guys in NS, and it applied to me also, is like really learning how to live in the moment. Because living in the moment means that I have to appreciate what I have in the moment. And let's be honest, there's nothing much to appreciate in the moment when you're in NS. But again, as with everything, there's always something to take away lah. Yeah, we'll talk more about this in the NS episode. Yeah, but yeah, so I think looking back now, 5 years, as you look back to you 5 years ago, right? What do you think changed? What are some of the things that have changed?
Wow, I feel like it's too many. So many things have changed.
Like,
I would say personally, like definitely my confidence level would like 180. I feel like you can.
oh, at least you say 180, not 360.
360 is like back to square one.
Exactly. You know, some people don't know the difference. Yeah, she took a 360 turn change. Then I was like, but 360 means she never changed.
Nothing
then
happened.
They think, oh yeah. And you know how long they think?
A few moments later.
Then they, oh yeah. Then, okay, sure.
Yeah, like I think back then, like I said, I tied my identity and how much I was worth to where I was in terms of school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but now it's like, thankfully, like I am in uni lah. But I would gladly tell you, like, even if I am not, that is not who I am.
Wow, that's good.
And to me, like some people take 1 year, some people take 10 years to realize this. For me, I took that amount of time. I would say more so. I really realized that in poly.
Okay.
Yeah, because in poly was when I was there to learn. Yeah, I wasn't really caught up with the grades.
Okay.
Even though like I really, really did shockingly well for like poly.
She did very well. Just for context, she did very well.
I guess the pressure of not like putting yourself like to like perform took the pressure off like for me to really enjoy my season in poly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm very glad that like because I took that from poly, right? I took that into uni now.
Wow, that's great. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I know in uni people really like chiong.
Yeah, I think people really chiong. I think like on the point of universities, we can talk about this more in that. I think a lot of people chiong. Like, wow, I remember when I was in the first year of my university, winter break, which is the break at the end of the year, people are going for internship. And I'm just down there. No, I want to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess when you take away the whole like I have to chiong instead of I'm here to learn mentality.
Yeah.
Like it's so different. Yeah.
Wow, that deserves a round of applause.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, wrong one. Sorry, this one. I forgot my sound effects. Okay.
Yeah, so like in terms of what things have changed, I would say perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, like perspective in terms of like how I want to handle uni.
Yeah.
I think if I were to get into uni back in 2017,
yeah.
I would probably end up not liking the things that I was doing.
even though it's the same thing.
Correct. Yeah, I would
Okay.
think I'll be so much more unhappier. Yeah.
Because you'll be still caught up in grades and whatnot.
Correct. And like I guess feeling really lousy that like, oh, why am I not being good enough in terms of this
Yeah.
versus now, you know? Like it's like
Yeah.
it's not so much of like how you perform. Like even though like to certain degrees, like yeah, it does measure to like how good you are as a student.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, not every student is book smart.
Yeah, that's me.
There are people who are skill smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, perspective change a lot.
That's great.
Yeah, and then I guess okay, so because of this, I would say it flew over to like confidence also.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when you don't tie your confidence and who you are as a person to things that will just fade away instantly, right? Like then for sure you will be, I guess, more confident in the things that you do.
Yeah, definitely lah.
Yeah, so I would say in terms of that, it did help a lot. And also because like along the way in the past 5 years, like I took up like serving roles in church. That definitely like helped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think I said this one line to my friend before. Like back then if you asked me to serve, I would say no.
Yeah.
Because I was so scared. Like so scared to take on like new things and like everything, right? But now it's like I'm okay to take on new things even though it's scary and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like with serving, it challenges you,
Mm.
like and it grows you. But like I would gladly do it again in a heartbeat, lor. Yeah.
In a heartbeat, I'll be there for you. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess those are the two major things that changed for me over the years.
Yeah, I think for me, learning to over the 5 years lah, like be in national service or university, I think similar to what you went through during the period where you took a gap year. It's more of learning how to accept that. Learning to accept that my grades don't define like my worth, my who I am lah.
Yeah.
Because I think up to JC, I've been doing relatively well as a student. I won't say superbly well, but good enough lah. Yeah, but then I think going to university, like, wow, it was shocking, man. Yeah, I think it was the first time that I was disappointed in my grades lah.
Wow.
Yeah, but at the same time, I had to learn to accept that, okay, I think this is my max. Yeah, because of whatever was happening and whatnot. But I think the hardest part always was accepting that people are doing so well. Yeah. And they can be doing so well, they can be doing a lot of things out of school and whatnot. And then why am I struggling so much with just studying? Yeah, albeit like I have other responsibilities out of school. But at the same time, why am I not doing as well? Yeah, and I think it was a very hard pill to swallow, but to accept that, okay, this is just my limit. Yeah, and this is what I can do. Yeah, but at the same time, does it mean that I'm no better? No. Yeah, but of course, it prompted me to search out what I wanted to do, what I want to do I would say in life, but what I want to do in general. Yeah. So I think it's the first one. The second one was, I think, really understanding that solidifying the belief that, hey, there are different groups of friends lah. Friends that are for a season, friends that are through the seasons. Yeah, because I think up to 2017 or even 2016, I was very adamant that friends are friends for life. Yeah, that's why I would try to like meet my friends and whatnot.
Right.
But after a while, I realized that a friendship takes two hands to clap. Yeah, if it's just one hand clapping, you're slapping yourself. Like that. Wow. Yeah. So I think learning how to let go of certain friendships, was a tough thing to do, but it was very beneficial in a sense. Yeah, and learning that it is okay. Yeah, you don't have to be friends with everyone. You don't have to be friends with. You don't always have to be with your friends. You don't have to stay friends with people for the rest of your lives. Yeah. There are people that stay. There are people that leave. That's totally fine, because I believe that with every friend that comes into your life, whether they are just there for a season, whether they're through the seasons with you, there will always be a learning point, both for you and that person. Yeah, and I mean, I do cherish the memories that we had.
Mm.
Yeah, for all these different friends, but that is what they will remain, I guess. Like right now, as memories,
Yeah.
like Maroon 5, the song. Yeah, and very aptly, I was just listening to it on the way to fetch you.
Oh.
But yeah, I think these are the main two things that I really learned over the past 5 years that I feel really helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think identity and self worth is something that we all struggle with,
Yeah.
no matter how old we are, no matter
Yeah.
where we are in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there will always be comparison, especially with social media.
Yes.
When everybody is posting all the zai part,
The glam,
the
the
glam,
glamorous
the
moments.
glitz. Yeah. Okay. So I think gonna wrap this up soon. So I think what is one thing, or not one thing, what will you say to the 2017 version of yourself if you could travel back in time, or you could voice record this, right?
Wow.
And then I send
Teleport.
you back 5 years ago. What would you tell the 2017 you?
I would say like things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And I am exactly where I need to be.
Wow.
And that's all that I have to be fixated and focused on.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think, like I said, like back then, I was so caught up with like chasing worldly success, or like the success that I was taught,
What the picture of success that has been
Correct.
ingrained into us.
Yeah. But truthfully, like I've written out my very own form of success, and I'm happy
Wow.
with that. Yeah. So to my 2017 self, is really like I'm exactly where I need to be, and like things happen for a reason. You pressed the correct one.
Yeah, I finally pressed the correct one. Yeah, okay. I think for me, to my 2017 self specifically, I would say you're more than what your position tells you lah. In terms of be it your ranking or whatever grades you get. And I think for self-worth or your self-identity, it really comes from, is what you give it to yourself lah, I would say. It's not based on external factors, because if it's based on external factors, I remember this quote lah, that I saw somebody says that if you are easily built up by the words of people, you'll be easily torn down by the words. Yeah, and I think when I saw that quote, wow, it changed my life. Like, yes, take the compliments. I mean, everybody loves compliments, but don't let it get to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we don't let it get to us, when we don't let the good things get to us, we don't let the bad things get to us either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think really about learning how to just do what you can do. Yeah, that's what I tell myself. All right, and with that, we've come to the end of a very reflective podcast. I think at the end of the day, why we're sharing all this, again, to reiterate, is that for those of you out there who are struggling with where you are right now, be your identity, be you're struggling in school, you're struggling with what you want to do in the future, I think it's always comforting to know that think about where you were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And compare it to where you are right now. Even if there is that little bit of difference, it's still a difference.
Yeah.
And if let's say the difference is not good, let's say you're off in a worse place now. Yeah, I hope like whatever I just shared will kind of encourage you to know that, hey, as you go along, things will get better. Yeah, and just keep doing what you can doing, and just keep learning and growing. Yeah. So with that, we'll see you in the next podcast. Bye.
Bye.